The rain started at dawn, Los Angeles, May 1st, 2000. The sky was gray, heavy, like it knew what was coming. Sammy Davis Jr. had been dead for 10 years, but his mother was about to be buried. And somehow, impossibly, he was there. Not physically, but in every story, every memory, every tear shed by the people who'd gathered at Forest Lawn Memorial Park to say goodbye to Elvera Sanchez. She was 94 years old when she died. A dancer once, a mother always. The woman who'd given birth to the greatest entertainer the world had ever seen, and then watched him become someone she barely recognized. The funeral was small, family, close friends, people who'd known Elvera before she was Sammy Davis Jr.'s mother. When she was just Elvera, a Puerto Rican dancer trying to make it in vaudeville, trying to survive. But there was a video that nobody was supposed to see, from 1985, 15 years earlier, when Elvera had been hospitalized, when the doctors said she might not make it through the night. And Sammy, already dying himself from throat cancer, had gone to see her. Someone had filmed it. A family member. Shaky camera. Bad audio. But what it captured was the most raw, devastating moment of Sammy Davis Jr.'s still life. The hospital room was small, sterile. The machines beeped rhythmically. Elvera lay in the bed, looking tiny, fragile, breathing through an oxygen mask. Sammy sat in the chair beside her, 60 years old, gaunt from the cancer eating away at his throat, unable to speak above a whisper. His wife May had driven him, tried to get him to rest first. But Sammy had refused. "I need to see her," he'd rasped. "I need to see my mother." The camera started rolling just as Sammy reached for Elvera's hand. She opened her eyes, saw him. "Baby," she whispered. "My baby boy." Sammy's face crumpled. "Mama," he whispered back. "I'm here." "I'm tired, baby. So tired." "I know, Mama. I know." Elvera tried to sit up. Sammy gently pushed her back down. "Don't move, Mama. Save your strength." "For what?" Elvera asked. "I'm 94 years old. I've been saving my strength my whole life. I'm done saving." Sammy's hands were shaking. "Don't talk like that." "Why not? It's true." Her voice was weak but clear. "I'm ready, baby. I'm ready to go." "I'm not ready," Sammy whispered. "I'm not ready to lose you." Elvera squeezed his hand with what little strength she had. "You lost me a long time ago, Sammy. When you were 3 years old and your daddy took you on the road. I lost you then, and I never got you back." The words hit Sammy like a physical blow. "Mama, don't say that. It's the truth," Elvera said. "Your father took you, turned you into a performer, into a star. And I watched. From a distance, like everyone else." Tears streamed down Sammy's face. "You're my mother. You'll always be my mother." "I gave birth to you," Elvera said. "But the world raised you. The stage raised you. The audience raised you. I was just the woman who held you for 2 years before you became everyone else's." "That's not true, isn't it?" Elvera's eyes filled with tears. "Tell me, Sammy, when was the last time you needed me? Really needed me? Not as an obligation, not as a check you send every month. When was the last time you came to me because I was your mother and you needed your mama?" Sammy couldn't answer. Because she was right. His whole life, he'd been running, performing, chasing applause, chasing acceptance, chasing everything except the one thing he'd lost when he was 3 years old, his mother's arms. "I'm sorry, Mama," he whispered. "I'm so sorry." "For what?" "For leaving, for choosing the stage over you, for becoming Sammy Davis Jr. instead of just being your son." Elvera reached up with a trembling hand, touched his face. "You didn't choose, baby. You were chosen. Your daddy chose for you. The world chose for you. You were 3 years old. You didn't have a choice. I had a choice later, Sammy said. "When I was older, when I was successful, I could have come back. I could have—" "You did what you had to do," Elvera interrupted. "You survived the only way you knew how, by being the best, by being indispensable, by making sure they couldn't live without you." She paused, breathing heavily. "But, while you were making the world love you, I was here, loving you anyway, waiting for the day when you didn't need the applause anymore, when you'd come back and just be my baby boy again." Sammy was sobbing now, deep, wrenching sobs. "I'm here now, Mama, I'm here. I know, baby, but it's too late. For both of us. Don't say that. You're dying too, Sammy, I can see it. That cancer is eating you alive. The doctors say I have time." "The doctors are liars," Elvera said gently. "I'm your mother. I know, you're dying. And instead of resting, instead of making peace, you're still performing. Still trying to make them love you. Still running from the one thing that matters." "What's that?" "That you were loved all along. By me. By your real family. You didn't have to earn it. You didn't have to prove anything. You just had to exist." Sammy couldn't breathe. The truth was suffocating him. His whole life had been about proving he was worthy, worthy of love, worthy of acceptance, worthy of being seen as equal. He'd worked harder than anyone, perfected every skill, sang, danced, acted, played instruments. Did it all better than anyone because being good wasn't enough. He had to be undeniable. But his mother was telling him it had all been unnecessary. That she'd loved him without the talent, without the fame, without the achievement, just for being her son. And he'd wasted his entire life not knowing that was enough. "Mama," Sammy whispered, "I don't know how to stop. I don't know how to be anything except Sammy Davis Jr." "Then you'll die on stage," Elvera said sadly. "Just like your daddy wanted, just like the world wants. You'll die entertaining people who don't really love you, who just love what you can do for them." She closed her eyes. "But I'll die knowing I loved my baby boy, the real one, the one who existed before the world got hold of him." "Mama, please. I'm tired, Sammy. Let me sleep. Mama, don't leave me." Elvera opened her eyes one more time. "I left you when you were 3, baby. But you were always here." She touched his chest. "Right here, my little boy." Before the world broke him. And then she closed her eyes. Elvera didn't die that night. She recovered. Lived another 15 years. But something in Sammy died in that hospital room. The illusion that he could outrun his childhood. That he could perform his way to wholeness. That applause could fill the hole his mother's absence had created. When Sammy Davis Jr. died in 1990, he was 64 years old. Throat cancer. Years of smoking, years of pills. Years of pushing his body past every limit. But really, he died of something else. Exhaustion from a lifetime of trying to earn love he'd already been given. At Elvera's funeral in 2000, they played the video. The family had debated whether to show it. It was so private. So painful. But Sammy's daughter Tracy made the decision. "People need to see this," she said. "People need to understand what my father lost, what he was running from his whole life." The video played on a small screen. Every person in that church wept. Because they saw something the world had never seen. Sammy Davis Jr., without the performance. Without the smile. Without the armor. Just a son. Desperate. Broken. Begging his mother not to leave him. Again. After the funeral, Tracy spoke to a small group of reporters. They asked about the video. "Why did you show it?" "Because my father spent his whole life performing," Tracy said. "Being what everyone needed him to be. The singer, the dancer, the entertainer, the symbol. He was never just allowed to be a person. To be vulnerable. To need someone. She paused, wiping her eyes. That video shows the truth. That underneath all the talent, all the fame, all the success, my father was just a little boy who lost his mother when he was 3 years old. And he spent the next 60 years trying to fill that hole with applause. Did he ever fill it? Tracy shook her head. No, because applause doesn't love you back. The audience doesn't hold you when you're scared. Fame doesn't tell you you're enough just as you are. She looked at the reporters. My father died believing he had to earn love, that he had to be extraordinary to be worthy. And that belief killed him. Just like my grandmother said it would. The story of Sammy Davis Jr. and Elvera Sanchez is not about show business. It's about what happens when a child loses their mother at 3 years old. Not to death. To necessity. To survival. To the demands of a world that saw a talented child and decided he belonged to everyone. Sammy spent his entire life running. From the poverty of his childhood. From the racism that told him he wasn't good enough. From the hole in his heart where his mother should have been. He ran toward applause. Toward achievement. Toward perfection. Because somewhere in his 3-year-old mind, he'd learned a terrible lesson. That love was something you earned. Not something you were born deserving. Elvera knew the truth. She'd loved him all along. Not for what he could do, for who he was, but she'd lost him before she could teach him that. And by the time he was old enough to understand, it was too late. He was already Sammy Davis Jr. And Sammy Davis Jr. didn't need a mother. He needed an audience. Somewhere in a hospital room that no longer exists, a son held his mother's hand and begged her not to leave him. Again. She told him the truth he'd spent his life running from. That he'd been loved all along, without the performance, without the perfection, just for being her baby boy. But by then, he'd forgotten how to believe it. So he died trying to earn what he'd already been given. And she died wishing she could have saved him from himself.